I'd like to call a meeting to order, please, and ask the city clerk to call the roll. Mayor Sorrell? Here. Mayor Hanson? Councilor Grasso?
Here.
Councilor Lowndes?
Here.
Councilor Hines?
Here.
Councilor Penelakis?
Here.
Councilor Whitehouse?
Here.
Councilor Marconi?
Here.
Councilor St. Laurent?
Here.
I'd like to ask everyone to rise for a moment of silent prayer in memory of the crew of the Columbia Shuttle. And then Councilor Bill St. Laurent will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by God Bless America.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
We're down to our presentations, and the first one is for a wonderful man that works very hard for our holiday Christmas parade, and I'd like to read a proclamation. A proclamation from the City Council. Whereas the City of Portsmouth is most fortunate that so many of our citizens have embraced the spirit of volunteerism, making Portsmouth the city of the open heart as well as the open door. And whereas our honor roll of volunteers is long and distinguished, but one whose name always tops the list is George Hosker, Jr., Executive Director of the Prescott Park Arts Festival. And whereas George stepped forward quite a few years ago to direct our Christmas parade and built a great tradition into an even more wonderful holiday event. And whereas George's love of children and dedication to the city of Portsmouth and its people continues to inspire us all as the leading advocate of the arts and the Pied Piper of what is fun in the city of Portsmouth. And whereas George's willingness to always step forward to answer a cry for volunteer help has really earned him a very special place in our heart. Now, therefore, I, Evelyn Sorrell, Mayor of the City of Portsmouth, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Portsmouth, express the appreciation and the admiration of our community for the time and effort that George Hosker Jr. once again has dedicated to our annual Christmas parade and to many other activities benefiting Portsmouth residents. Giving with my hand and the seal of the City of Portsmouth on this, the 10th day of February, 2003, Evelyn Sorrell, Mayor. George, I'd love you to come forward and accept your proclamation and your gift and to say a few words to the people at home. Thanks, George. I don't know. Did I ever give you one of those? No. I got to start writing down what I give you. There you go. And thank you, George. And do say a few words.
Thank you. Here's your hard work. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Tom.
Good evening. Of course, always a pleasure for us to be associated with any event that brings light and joy to the city of Portsmouth. We've been very proud to be involved. This is our 5th year, by the way, and continues to evolve and continues to change. And we're all just very excited to see what's in the works for next year. Evelyn said she didn't recognize me. I have been going to the Harold Whitehouse School of Haircuts. So
Very much,
hopefully there's no surprise there. And of course, always want to invite, as I will later on paper, all of the folks who work so hard for Portsmouth to our opening day on June 26th this year at Prescott Park to see, or rather witness, the first time that Peter Pan will fly over Prescott Park. Bring out the liability waivers. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Now we have a very special Mayor's Award, which is signed by the mayor and our city manager, John Bohinko. This is the first one I think we've shared, isn't it, John?
Sure.
And this is going to be presented tonight to Alan Brady, who is our webmaster, in appreciation for your hard work and talent with the City of Portsmouth website that resulted in its selection as one of 12 top techs of the country and local government websites in this country. Your efforts have brought honor to our city, for which we are very, very grateful and extremely proud. Thank you so much, Alan. And if you would come forward to accept this, and maybe you'd like to say a few words at the podium, and maybe John's got a few words.
Sure.
Quite welcome. Just a little bit something for your coffee in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
As Alan's making his way back to the podium, I just want to echo your comments about the website. I have received a tremendous amount of positive input from all the citizens of our community inside Portsmouth and those that live outside. The web page has come a long way. We are recognized, or at least we knew that we had a great site. Now it's been validated by the MuniNet Guide and Review, which has rated it in the top sites in the country. And for those of you on the council can see the actual website for the MuniNet and those others that have been given awards. We ranked with some really outstanding communities, and ours is among them.
Alan?
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to receive such an award, Madam Mayor, and a special thanks goes to you and also to the council members. And the next special thanks goes to the city manager, John Bohinko. He's stood behind me for the last year, and he really can't complain. The website's out there, it's up, it's running, it's great, and a lot of people do visit it, and hopefully it'll just continue to grow.
And we want to thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Just to forget, there's a lot of people involved in the website, and it's not just myself, and I'd like to thank those too in every department.
Thank you. We're down to the acceptance of the minutes for January 27th, 2003.
Move the minutes, Your Honor.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. We're down to the public comment session. Three. We have three speakers.
The first speaker for 3 minutes will be Carvel Teff, speaking on public integrity.
How do? I'm Carvel Teft. I live at 69 Richards Avenue here in Portsmouth. Good evening. Last Thursday night's public hearing was intended to air concerns over traffic and safety at the proposed Parrott Avenue Library site. One of the planning board members suggested tabling the vote since certain traffic and safety concerns had not yet been resolved. The planning board member read from the board's site review manual, and I'll quote, "The project should be designed to improve or at least maintain the existing level of service," unquote. The planning director responded, and yet again I quote, "I think you ought to keep your comments to yourself," unquote. Now, that remark does not speak well for our democratic process and the grace to listen to dissent. But more troubling is that the planning director stated shortly thereafter, and I'll quote again, "Nothing forces the city to follow its own rules," unquote. You may recall that at a library bond hearing last year, the city manager and assistant mayor stated unequivocally that the city intends to follow its own rules throughout the library site review process. I was standing here at the podium during that exchange. And I've learned and I've heard that the city manager expressed on many other occasions how important it is for the city to follow its own rules. So, the question is, who do we believe? The city manager and certain councilors, or the planning director? Are we to follow our own rules or not? Is it strictly a matter of convenience? The citizens of Portsmouth, I believe, in this case, would like to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker number 2 is Peter Bresciano on the budget.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council members and staff. We've heard a lot about zero balance budgeting from departments in the city. I'm going to give you the flip side of that. I'm going to take an elderly woman living down on Mechanic Street, and these are actual figures from the assessed values of the home, but I'm not going to say the address. And we're going to make her 75 to 79 years old. In 1994, her assessed value of her home was $168,400. With a $150,000 exemption, she paid taxes in fiscal year 01-02 of $576. $576. 2002, after the reevaluation, her assessed value of her home was $489,400. With her elderly exemption of $175,000, she paid taxes of $6,058. That's an increase over the previous year of $5,482. Now, this is a woman that's 75 to 79 years old, probably, and I based it on a fixed income, getting 2 pensions. If the tax rate of the city goes up $1.10 in fiscal year 03-04, she'll be paying taxes of $6,400, another increase of $346. So in 2 years, she's going to be paying $5,828. That is a whole lot of money. And when it comes to departments saying, we just can't cut or keep our budget at 0 level, and I know it's not going to stay at 0 level. But what do we say to an individual like this that come last December 1st, somebody said to her, you got to come up with another $2,000 to pay your December tax bill over the previous year. And she's getting an exemption. I figured it out. If she wasn't that age, didn't have a exemption, she would have been paying $4,000 more. And 2 years, she's going to be paying $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,828. $5,8 last year than she did the previous year. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
The final speaker is Ed Lawrence on Brain Trust of Government. Come on up, Ed. I called your name. You have 3 minutes.
I'm speaking on the brain trust of government. It's supposed to be the people. The people having so many different educations and experiences, the people having the average intelligence is all that's needed. The application to one's duty as a citizen will get them involved, and they should be encouraged, not limiting people to 3 minutes, but a half hour is not very long. But the spirit of that law is to get the people involved. And this leadership that we have has failed. We have the top 3, and then we have the rubber stamp council up until last election, when we got 3 good, independent-minded councilmen along with White House. So we have just one more to go to get a majority who will respect the views of the people and learn from them as well as teach them. The people do learn from you, and they learn bad as well as good. And therefore, this last session was a culmination of a system of persuasion called gradualism. And our leadership, elected leadership, and our bureaucratic leadership fell for that scheme. You get people interested stage by stage, for example, to a wonderfully drafted library. And then you lead them step by step through that gradual increase in the design. And then finally, you present to them the worst site in the city of Portsmouth for the library, especially that side and that district. That district is no better than what the library has now. You're forcing the people. And I couldn't help but marvel at the way the people you hired argued. Well, we're going to get 2 spaces from across the street from the middle school. Just think of that. And then here are the people on the Richards Avenue and other places around, the narrow street, terribly narrow street of Richards Avenue, are going to be forced to undergo a tremendous increased travel proposition. I gave the answer to the library. The position was 4 buildings being saved, probably less than half the cost that's projected now, on top of a terrible increase in the budgets and revaluation. A revaluation should have been ruled unacceptable. I have the state law that proves that.
Ed, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we're down to presentations and considerations of written communications and petitions. And I'm going to ask Zach and Spencer to step forward, and if Mary Carey would like to come up, she's more than welcome to the podium. And would you like to read the letter, Zach or Spencer, or do you want one of the counselors to do it?
One of you can read it, that's fine.
All right. Joanne, will you read it, please?
Yes, thank you. It's addressed to the Honorable Mayor and City Council. Dear Mayor Surround and members of the City Council, the Portsmouth High School Student Council is in the process of organizing Student Government Day 2003. With your vote and approval, Thursday, March 27, 2003 will officially be known as Student Government Day in Portsmouth. On this day, selected Portsmouth High School students will assume various municipal roles as well as city council positions. We trust you agree that Student Government Day has proven to be very worthwhile and enjoyable experience for all those involved in it, and we hope that you will enthusiastically endorse it again this year. We appreciate all your support and cooperation in the past years and look forward to working with you on yet another successful Student Government Day. And it's signed by Zach Braun, who's the Student Council President, and Mary Carey Foley, who's the Student Council Advisor.
All right, now it's in your court, boys.
Hi, my name is Zach Braun. I reside at 3 Larry Lane, Portsmouth. Again, I'm the president of the Student Council at Portsmouth High School, and I'm here to talk to you about Student Government Day 2003. Spencer will be passing out to you the applications to participate in Student Government Day 2003. As you can see on the application, there were over 50 positions offered to PHS students ranging from Mayor of Portsmouth, Superintendents of School, Athletic Director, PMS Principal, New Franklin School Principal, or right down to the PHS Resource Officer, the Public Works Director, you name it, it's on the sheet. If you have a passion for something or you're interested in something, you can sign up for it, apply for it, and if you get selected, you can go and shadow this person for a day. On the sheet, you request three jobs that you are interested in taking from 1 to 3, most important to least important to you. And then on the back, you write about city issues you are concerned about or would like to see on the agenda if you were chosen for, say, school board or city council, and then there's school issues. So all of these relate to city issues or school issues in some way. Kids are chosen to participate in Student Government Day based on seniority, seniors to freshmen, and the thought and quality of their application. We don't want people just writing, I want to be the PHS principal because I think it would be cool. We want you to elaborate on it. Why do you think it would be cool? How is this going to benefit you in the long run? Like, what kind of learning experience is this going to be to you? So we're trying to get people to think about it and really involve themselves in the learning process, because that's what high school is all about. Me personally, I've been involved in Student Government Day for freshman and sophomore year. I'm now a senior, and I wasn't able to do it last year because I was attending a journalism conference at Columbia University in New York City with paperclip and yearbook. But this year I'm ready to go again. I'm coming after your job, Mayor Sorrell, so watch out. From someone that has participated in this program, I can tell you that it's been a worthwhile and positive experience that has really increased the learning atmosphere and how I learn. To be able to see the workings of the city and the working of the school department is really an interesting thing. Sometimes as a student looking onto the older people in our society and how they run things, that you don't really see what they do, but actually being a part of it, you see how things are run and you have things come into a new light for you, and I think that's really important, and I hope you see that as well. Student Government Day kind of fuels the fire for students as well. Me personally, my love of politics has evolved from participating in this program, from seeing the inner workings of the city council and the student and the school board. I've been able to kind of pursue a passion of mine, and hopefully and I know that's continued for other students at Portsmouth High School. Basically just gives a new look on how city government and school government works for students, and that's really important for kids in the school to see another side to an issue or a problem, so to speak. Now I'd like to introduce Spencer Philp, who will talk about his experiences, and it's his 18th birthday today, and he came out on his 18th birthday, so happy birthday, Spencer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and councilors. My name is Spencer Philp. I'm 18 today, and I reside at 39 Spring Street in Portsmouth. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the days that I've had on Student Government Day. Like Zach, I find it to be really enlightening because not many people know what goes on behind the scenes, and it's really eye-opening to see what does go on. Very interesting. And as Zach so eloquently put it, Mr. Hank, I'll probably be coming after your job, so watch out. Yeah, exactly. So last year I was assistant superintendent, so I got to shadow Dr. Lister, who's actually a friend of mine outside of the administration. But it's very interesting. We started off our day at the Chamber of Commerce talking about this thing that's called, I believe it was Express City, and it was like a mock town where everyone was, it was kind of like a student government day, except it was a mock town, and it was like a scale size. It was pretty interesting. We went to the central office, and, he told me what his day consisted of. Once again, very eye-opening experience. I got to talk to Dr. Tracy. I mean, Dr. Tracy and Dr. Lister, they're some of the greater guys that I know. They bring a whole lot to the administration in the school. They're always around saying hi to everybody. A couple of good guys. In 10th grade, I was the principal at Rye Junior High, and that was her first year, so it was really interesting, especially because it wasn't someone who's been doing it for a long time. It was also someone who is just new at it, so it was kind of like both of us were both getting our feet wet, so it was very fun. And freshman year, I sat on the school board, and I was just a little freshman, and I kind of didn't really know what anything was about. But it was fun to learn what happens on the school board, because I had no idea even such a thing existed. Just kidding. It's not really that funny. I do think it's a good experience, and I think that we should really encourage everyone to do it, because I know some people just do it to get out of school or whatever, but I think some people really do care about it, and the people that do really get a lot out of it. I'd recommend it to everyone in the school. I really think that, like I said, everybody gets something out of it. It's a very eye-opening experience. So that's all I have to say. Zach, you up again?
Thank
all right.
you.
You're welcome.
Again, just to sum up Student Government Day, it's a day that provides an opportunity for students to see how the city runs and the jobs that people perform on a daily basis. And it's very popular at Portsmouth High School, and the majority of students, I would say, apply for these elite positions in the school. And me and Spencer are appearing before you tonight to request for the council's permission to hold Student Government Day 2003 on Thursday, March 27th. And with your vote and approval, your student council parts will sit with you at your St. Patrick's Day meeting on March 17th. And you are all invited to join the students at their agenda meeting with City Manager Bohenko and Mayor Sorrell at PHS on Wednesday, March 19th. And just one quick change on the bottom of this. Applications are due by Tuesday, March 4th, not the 7th. Yes, for your information. And thank you very much, and we hope you approve this.
Thank you both, boys. Very good. Mary, did you want to come forward? No, we're going to be bashful again. You're quite welcome. Do you want to move that letter?
Your Honor, I move that the mayor and city council accept the recommendation of the student council and have March 27th as Student Government Day.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Now we're down to a letter from Draca Overton. I was close. Portsmouth Percussion Dance Festival, and Jeff Gable, the Music Hall Executive Director, requesting permission to close off Pleasant Street between Market Square and Porter Street for street performances and to conduct a parade on Friday, June 27, 2003, or Saturday, June 28, 2003.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
Move to
Councilor
city.
Candelakis.
move to city manager with power.
Second.
Discussion? Harold?
Yes, in the communication, it states that the parade will go down Congress Street to Porter. In other words, they'll be going down Congress Street, up Chestnut to Porter, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ready for the vote? Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. A letter from Nancy Neumeier, Sexual Assault Support Services, requesting permission to hold the 11th anniversary walkathon on Sunday, April 27th, 2003. What's your pleasure, councilors?
Madam Mayor.
Brad?
Move to the city manager with power.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. A letter from Connie Strum, Greater Portsmouth Chamber of Commerce, requesting permission to hold the 8th annual Portsmouth Harbor Trail 5K road race on Saturday, July 12th, 2003.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
move to city manager with power.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Harold?
It seems as though all these fun runs and jogs and 5Ks and benefits that are taking place, the route always goes down through the south end. And, you know, the streets are narrow, and it's on a Saturday, and traffic is backed up. People are starting, I'm not saying my phone rings off the hook, but they are approaching me, you know, and they're asking why. I know South End is an important place to have a fun ride and travel through, but it's very dangerous, especially Mechanic Street where there's no sidewalk. It's just a comment, Your Honor.
Thank you, Harold. We all ready for the vote? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? A letter from Donald Allison, Eastern States 20 Mile, requesting permission to hold the Eastern States 20 Mile road race on Sunday, March 30th, 2003. Councilor Hines, would you like to make the motion on that one?
Yes, I will move this to the city manager with power.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Letter from Susan Graham, Robert Foley, and Tom Wellman, requesting money to fund a statewide anti-casino referendum campaign.
Your Honor,
Yes, Councilor.
I move that we accept the letter and place it on file.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. A letter from Steve Mayo, RPL Properties, LLC, requesting to rename Ledgewood Drive to Winway Place.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
move to city manager with power.
Your Honor, I think, if I may, I think this should go to the planning board.
Okay. Would you say that, Laura, that it should be referred to the planning board? Okay?
Move
Okay.
to refer to the planning board.
Okay.
Second.
Very good. Harold, did you have something to say?
No.
No, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Now we're down to the city manager, and John has 2 items that require action.
Thank you, Your Honor. The first item that I have is just a request for an approval of resolution to continue to support state funding for the Land and Community Heritage Investment Program, the LCHIP. Over the years, we've applied on many occasions. I think the city has been successful on one occasion for these funds, but what we're asking for here, and there is a request for support around the state for these funds, and they asked each legislative body to consider giving support to that.
Councilors, did I get a motion on that?
Your Honor?
Councilor Grasso?
I move that we approve the proposed resolution to support the continued state of funding for the Land and Community Heritage Investment Program.
Second? Do I have a second? Did I get a second?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Councilor Hines did.
Okay, discussion.
Are they asking for funds from us?
No, it's to support the reauthorization of the legislation.
Okay.
For the council's information, the city did receive money to purchase the conservation easement for the Het parcel back in 1989 from the Land and Conservation Grant Fund. Just so that you're aware that we did receive
Were
money.
they involved at all with the Stetson property?
No.
No. Okay. Any other discussion? All ready for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Thank you, Your Honor. The next item deals with a tree protection easement. I would defer to the city attorney relative to this.
There's a property at 755 Greenfield Road, which is being developed. It's on the left side as you're headed southbound, just before you get to the industrial park. And during the planning board review process, the developer offered to the planning board to give the city an easement to protect a particular stand of trees located on the property. The planning board accepted the offer, but because the only source of authority in city government to actually accept a deed as the city council. The planning board's recommendation really had to come to you to accept the deed. What you have in front of you tonight is the deed. Even though it's 6 pages long, basically all we're going to do is protect the stand of trees.
Does somebody want to make a motion on that? Yes, Harold.
Yeah, move to accept the tree protection easement at 755 Banfield Road and authorize the city manager to execute the necessary documents.
Second.
Discussion? Harold?
Yes, this comes off the tax roll. Has it been figured what we'd be losing in taxes?
I can absolutely guarantee you that the net tax effect on the city of the development will be a benefit, a significant benefit. The small area protected by the trees or for the trees will not be developed.
Okay.
But the overall property is going to be developed, so it'll be an increase in the tax base.
All ready for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm sorry,
I
Brad?
was just gonna say that looks like we killed a few trees to generate this 6-page easement deed. Good work.
Sounds great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Your Honor, just for informational items, I do have the capital improvement plan. You did receive a copy of that. That was approved by the planning board. It's been forwarded to you in accordance with the city charter. We have scheduled a work session with the City Council on March 24th, and the public hearing is scheduled on the capital improvement plan for March 31st. So if you could bring those plans with you to those meetings. The other item is number 4 under my informational, and, excuse me, yes, number 4 under my informational. A couple people have indicated because of scheduling issues that they might want to see that public hearing rescheduled. As you recall, the City Council back in August moved to table the request of Paul Surley, President of the Downtown Business Association, regarding their proposal for a pedestrian pilot program on Market Street. As part of that tabling motion, you recall the City Council voted to establish a public hearing for the first meeting in March 2003 to discuss this proposal. I guess my suggestion would be to push that off to sometime in May, and because there are people that are not available for that public hearing that would like to be.
Your Honor?
Very good. Yes, Councilor Grasso and then Councilor Lam.
I'd like to make a motion that the mayor work with the city manager and establish a new date for the public hearing sometime, perhaps the end of April or May, whichever suits into our schedule.
Second.
Brad?
Yeah, no, that was all I was.
No, that's what you're going to do. Okay, you all ready then for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Are there any other informational items you wanted to talk to John about? Okay, then we'll go on to the mayor, and the first one on my list is appointments, and the consideration for Conservation Commission is J. Lynn Walters, and I want you all to look to the bottom of the page, and they had 10 meetings, and Mr. Walters only missed 1. So we call him a good volunteer. What's the matter, Bill?
Your Honor, I'm not sure. We had something on the agenda on the city manager for a for a blue ribbon committee.
That comes under me.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
jumping ahead. I thought that was under the city manager.
Slow down, just because you want to get out of here. Under consideration for the ped list is Everett T. Eaton. To be voted on for ped list is David H. Banks. Oh.
Hard to read.
Yeah. Banks, 245 Marcy Street. Would somebody like to make the motion?
I would move that we
John?
recommend the renewal.
Do I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Board of Adjustment. This is an alternate, and this will fill the Board of Adjustments board. Stephen H. Berg. And that's to be voted on tonight. Will somebody make the motion?
Move the appointment of Stephen Berg to the Board of Adjustment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Thank you, Your Honor, for the nice resume that he sent in that's legible.
I know. Very good. I only have one opening for alternate at this time. and that is for the planning board, and I have 2 people's applications already. So I'll be bringing something forward at the next meeting.
Did we do the conservation?
Yes, we did.
It says renewal. It doesn't say renewal.
You're asking about item 2 under her name?
Yeah.
Is she picking it up now?
We haven't got to me yet, Evans. We're
I'm
coming in
sorry.
there. I'm there, but,
Okay,
you know.
okay. I'm with Bill. We're both confused.
Slow down here. First of all, I'm going to pass the gavel to Joanne because I'd like to make a motion for the donation of funds for the old State House.
Is there a second to her motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would like to bring forward a motion to accept the $500 check from Eagle and Associates regarding the Save the Old State House.
I'll ask for a second again.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
Aye.
Council Lounge?
Yeah, that's Dave Engel, the lawyer in
That's right.
Engel and Engel, the law firm.
Well, I'm reading what he had on his check. I'd just like to say before we leave this part, I sent a letter to all of my members, to all of the Save the Old State House members, and I would like to read it to the people out there. We have come to a point with saving the old State House where donations are impossible. I think we should proceed to get the glass enclosure, which Councilor Whitehouse has on order, and display the model in the Portsmouth room for everyone to see. Ann Walker also has given her time to bring the old State House model into the school system to teach the children about the Revolutionary Days. I think, people, it comes down to one thing. We perhaps should go ahead with putting a bronze plaque up in Market Square, and then when more monies are available, we can solicit for funds. And this was presented to the Save the Old State House Committee on January 15th, 2000. And I was sick that night, so Harold ran the meeting. Harold, how did everybody feel on that?
Very positive on your suggestions, ma'am.
Okay, very good.
And then the check was presented to us. It made us feel much better.
Okay, good.
And in reference to, while I have the floor, Your Honor, in reference to the glass enclosure, I checked today with a glass maker of this project, and it will be ready by the end of this week.
Wonderful, great. Okay, Joanne, you might as well hold that because I'm going into.
Well, let's have the vote on this first.
Okay.
It's been motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Now we are down to a proposal for a Blue Ribbon Committee on Trees and Public Greenery. As you all know, Cortell Strauss, who was our city arborist for many, many years, has stepped down. So it kind of left us without anyone. We didn't feel that we could go out and hire a city arborist. Right now, where times are very tight. So we more or less look to volunteers to run this. And what I would like to see done is that this committee would consist of 5 people. 2 of them are going to be residents. I've already made contact with Peter J. Laughlin, and he will be the chairman of it. Then the second one is open until I hear from the gentleman. He wrote me a letter a year ago and said he was very, very interested of Richard G. Adams, 75 Kent Street. But I have not got a final approval on him. I will be bringing the applications back to all of you. Public Works Department Director Steve Parkinson and Mark Tanner. And you all know Mark Tanner. He's very good with the trees. And he's He is an
Yes,
arborist.
he is an arborist, yes.
He is an arborist. And then the last one is the Urban Forestry Center, and there will be someone coming from there. I'm not quite sure of the person yet. But
We
there
made
will-
contact with the individual, just want to confirm it.
Yes. So that is what we're going to be doing, because you've heard a lot of talk on trees and greenery and things weren't being done and all of that. So this will get that committee in action, and they can follow through on it.
Is that a motion, Your Honor?
That's the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Counsel Long?
Yeah, I just want to commend the mayor and the city manager for moving forward on this. I think it's a very important idea. And I just wonder if, pending that the next meeting in September, would the commission have any input before the planning board on major projects involving tree removal or planting?
Well, Your Honor, if I might.
Yeah.
I think the idea of the Blue Ribbon Committee is really twofold, is to really take a look at the ordinance we have now for the arborist, which is a volunteer position, and to determine, similar to what the Pierce Island Committee did, they were a Blue Ribbon Committee, and they eventually became a formal committee of the city. I think they need to look at what their role should be. Should it be like the Traffic and Safety Committee? Should we have a full-time arborist that is in charge? I mean, we need to have somebody take a look and talk about, because there are certain statutory requirements on taking down a tree that we have to deal with, public safety issues. So my thought in discussing this with the mayor was to get a couple people that are very interested in the preservation of trees and public greenery in the city, and to talk to them with the city staff that have the responsibility for the day-to-day maintenance, and finally to have somebody such as a state forester to talk about some of the realities of species and things that we'd want to look at. As part of the budget this year, you'll see that we put in $10,000 in the capital plan for tree replacement. So what I hope that will come back in September to the City Council is a recommendation on maybe how we might change the ordinance to reflect how we can better deal with our management of our trees and public greenery. So at this point, I think that's what I'm really looking for, and I discussed it with the mayor, and that's where we're headed. Now, as time goes on, if there's a major issue, then we probably will, from an ad hoc standpoint, maybe make the recommendation through the Public Works Department.
Councilor Marconi?
I just don't want to see a repeat of what happened many, many years ago when we allocated quite a bit of money to plant trees downtown with a stipulation that the merchants would water them and take care of them. And I slowly watched all of them die from neglect. And I don't want that to happen. If we're going to appropriate any money for trees, I don't want them to be put where they're going to just die and nobody cares.
Councilor St. Laurent?
Thank you, Your Honor. Two questions. How does this work with the Conservation Committee? Are they going to be working hand in hand?
They do not want to be involved at all.
Okay. And, Your Honor, do you have enough people for this Blue Ribbon Committee?
Yeah, we only need 5.
So you've got enough people in case somebody else comes. Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, you had your hand up.
No, I'm sorry, I answered Bill's question, because I was just talking with Alan Sturgis today, and they do not really feel they want to get involved.
John, did you have a
Just
comment?
that with regards to Councilor Marconi's inquiry, certainly it's not one of the things I want to impress, that we're not going to just be looking at the downtown, but we're going to look citywide. And we will certainly make sure that if we plant trees as replacements, that we will take care of them.
Any further comments or discussion?
Move to question.
Did we have a motion?
Yes, we do. The mayor made the motion to authorize the Blue Ribbon Committee on Trees and Public Greenery as recommended by herself.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
My final say is that we have 3 meetings in March 3rd, 17th, and 31st, and we will be having a work session on March 24th for the capital budget. Now that takes care of the mayor, And we are down to, we're down to miscellaneous, and Harold doesn't have any miscellaneous, so are we ready to adjourn? Move to adjourn. Do I get a second?
Your Honor, please.
You're the one that told me
Please.
to come in, you wanted
Please.
to be out of here first.
Please, Your Honor.
Yes, Harold?
As a matter of courtesy, please. Under miscellaneous, there was a comment made and a question asked, and I'm going to refer this to our city manager to answer the question. One of the members of the public stated that nothing forces the city to follow its own rules, referring to the planning department head. And he asked the question, do we have to follow our own rules? In reference to the library,
I think Bob should answer that.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes, go right ahead.
There is a provision in the zoning ordinance which strongly suggests but does not compel that the city follow its own rules. Because of the strong suggestion contained in that provision, the city, for a great number of years now, typically has followed its own rules in any work that we have done. However, the provision does allow that in an appropriate case, the city would not have to follow its own rules.
You know, no, it doesn't. It's kind of dancing around the issue, but that's all right.
Your Honor?
We'll let it go for that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Harold. Joanne?
The comments that were made this evening were, as much as I admire the gentleman that made them, were taken out of context. And the planning director did step in when a member of the planning board insisted that it was a state law that the city had to follow its own rules, follow the rules. And I think the planning director tried to set him straight, but the planning board member insisted more than once, and in not a very nice way, that it was state law, and I don't believe it is state law.
Your Honor, may I add something?
Yes, Bob would like to reply to that.
I was present during the exchange, which was the topic of our earlier discussion. And I do think, frankly, and I believe the planning director would agree with me, that in the heat of the moment, he may have overextended himself. But probably the single most important thing to keep in mind is that regardless of what any of these gentlemen said, the city is, in fact, following its own rules with regard to library development.
Very good. John?
I'm sure on that particular issue that, consistent with using good judgment, there are times when the city can exercise the same rules that the Board of Adjustment has to do, and recognizing that we do follow the rules, but sometimes we have to bend them slightly to make them fit the times.
Thank you. Councilor McCollum.
That is most enlightening to me. I didn't realize we had bending opportunities, Your Honor. Thank you for that information.
You're welcome. Are we all ready for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We ready for a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Very good. Do I get a second? Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? See you all March 3rd.